As we continue our look into culture in Pareena and focus our look into entertainment, one aspect that I haven't covered yet is drama, live performances, and theatre. Hi, I'm your host Heatwave, and in today's Law episode, I'll be exploring theatre and drama within the Empire of Pareena. You thought I was defeated. Me, the tyrant of the Mojave. Come on, little princess. Far from the sea you are, far from your precious mummy to save your scales. Fear not, tyrant, for I have not come alone. Hear that? All of Pareena is behind me, all as one mind, as one voice, and as one talon we shall strike you down and cast you into the cold, cold void of forgottenness. Pareena is changing, old Sandwing, and we don't want you in our future. Welcome back to the Wings of Fire spin-off series Empire of Pareena. In today's Lore episode, I'll be exploring drama and theatre within the Empire of Pareena. If you had followed along, you would have heard me explain where the first music and dance came from in Pareena's history, and that would be the Mudwings, of course. But there was another, and that was the Skywings. I mentioned in my Winglet Culture episode, but a quick recap. The Skywings performed a traditional aerial acrobatics in the skies above the original Skywing Palace. It was a public event, but it was more of the sole enjoyment of the current queen of the Skywings. The performers would create images in the sky with their bodies and be bedazzled in jewels and diamonds that gave off dancing patterns across their scales in the setting sun. These performers also used talons full of white phosphorus powder, throwing it into the air to create rings of fire to fly through. During the War of Unification, this traditional performing art was abandoned, but post-unification it was still practiced by some Skywings, even making its way to be shown to the Emperators over the cycles. Yet, in Pareena today, it's still practiced by those few who know its routine, but it's not just performed by Skywings anymore. The true history of performing arts in a post-unified Pareena hasn't gotten the amount of attention as some other aspects of dragon culture. Sure, it's been around longer than the Empire, and it's a useful tool for storytelling, but for a very long time, drama and theatre was seen as something dragonettes do among themselves, role-play and the like. Many times I've passed a group of dragonettes, figuring out the best way to play soldier. And sure, some dragons have the natural talent to perform, but there was still little in the way of job pathways and opportunities to meet these talents. It wouldn't be until 2050 that any real organization would be created for the sector of performing arts and theatre. This would be the Imperial Theatrical Initiative. It was first founded by a bunch of historians, actually. They wanted to best educate the less informed parts of Pareena about history and preserve the glory of the past in a fun and entertaining way. They sent out an invitation to any dragon who was good at acting and knew their history. As they began to produce the production of the War of Unification, the theatrical performance. The play would be best show the most important parts of the War of Unification, how it started and the rise of the first Empress. I've actually been able to see the performance a few times, and I really like how they show the Skywings and Icewings coming to blows. I mean, take a listen. You bite your talon at me, Skywing. I bite my talon, Icewing. But do you bite your talon at me, Skywing? I bite my talon at me, Skywing. I bite my talon. You lie. For context, biting one's talon in front of another dragon was considered to be an insult. Anyway, to see a performance, it costs 1 imperial gold coin, and all performances are held a few times every cycle in the large courtyard space next to the imperial palace. At first, your average dragon enjoyed the first showing of the War of Unification, but historians were divided. Some thought it was exactly what they needed and made the war look like a historic and heroic story of struggle, faithful to the events, while others hated its romanticization of the events. It made the war look too clean and painted the first empress in a non-historically accurate way. The point was, it was still successful, and more plays and theatrical performances were made and presented to the public. Now let's talk a little bit about these stories, and how they're written and how they're performed. Well, the Imperial Theatrical Initiative has its own writers, who of course write and refine the material that's used during performances. The area of performance is, as mentioned, the courtyard of the Imperial Palace. The audience sit on cushions in nice neat rows viewing a special demountable stage made of wood, lined with glow orbs, and of course performers wear some type of costume that, in a way, over-exaggerates the characters that they play. Each performance can last a few hours, and it takes rotations to practice and memorize. So let's wrap up this episode by looking at some of the more well-known performances. Of course, we have the War of Unification, which tells the story of how the Empire came to be and the rise of the first Empress. There's the tale of Sunray and Jellyfish, a story of a sandwing and a seawing who fell in love despite being enemies during the War of Unification. It has a tragic ending, as on the field of battle, Sunray killed Jellyfish, and after realizing his mistake, he would take his own life. There are many plays about some of the older sea-wing folk stories, the slaying of the mastodon, taming the kraken. These tales are all about the heroes overcoming the problem with their use of the 4 principles of the Empire, a real moment to teach these values. There's even a play for Sting of the Sandwing. Now, post-War of the Red Sands, there was a play describing the historical events that the war held, but creating a play about a 5-year war? Well, we'll save that for the audio stories here, won't we? Makes you think. I wonder if there'll ever be a production about me. Heatwave. Ooh, I wonder who would play me. Someone pretty like me, someone smart like me, someone who's really, really talkative, someone who's really good at writing. I'm really good at writing. I'm also good at drawing too. I'm a lot good at a lot of things, actually. I'm fantastic at a lot of things. Thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a comment, like, or subscribe to help the algorithm present this content to a wider audience. And don't forget the channel goals with special rewards. This is Heatwave, signing off.